All
Another
right. Hello. We are live. Wow. I wish sometimes that the viewers could see what's going on backstage. There's an elaborate backstage system
Oh
that's
yeah.
happening here with our podcast. And yeah, the pre-show, man, that's where it's at. Well, we're excited that you're with us. If you're watching us on YouTube, we're going to start our content in about 6 or 7 minutes. So if you want to skip ahead to what the podcast is actually going to be, fantastic. Although I've heard people say that this pre-show is really where it's at. So
Mm.
you could definitely stick with us and watch us until then. What I'm going to do to kind of signal that we're switching over is we'll do like a 30-second countdown video before that. Anyway, Jonah, how are you doing? How's your week been? How's your 2 weeks
Well,
been? It's been a couple weeks since we've connected.
it has been. It's been a while. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I haven't shaved in those 2 weeks, so that was maybe a mistake. I'm now realizing now that I can see myself.
You're not wearing
Other
a
than
mask.
that,
Isn't that
what?
weird? You're
That's the thing. See,
you're
that's the
talking
thing.
to human and you're not wearing a mask. You think about facial hair. Oh yeah.
That's like in the least political way possible. That's why I'm very pro-mask. At the end of the day, it's because I hate shaving.
And for the teens watching this show, I bet just back in the day, teens used to be worried about like acne and stuff like that, braces.
Yeah.
It's not a thing anymore. Just wear a mask and get through those
True.
awkward years, and then when you're an adult and you're out of this pandemic, maybe, then you don't have to deal with those issues anymore.
It's true. Yeah, I
Or
thought.
shave. Yes.
Mm-hmm. You got some people backstage rocking masks as well. Yeah, that's the thing though. It's like I'm already not motivated to shave. Like I don't grow facial hair that fast. Uh, you know. So I already was putting it off, but now it's like every in-person interaction I have, no one knows. So
That's right.
why do it? It's probably been like 2 weeks, something like that, and it's not that bad for 2 weeks. It's not that insane, but yeah.
How do you feel about this challenge, Jonah? What if for 2021 you did not shave all year? How do you feel about? I say it because I saw an old friend, and he did not shave during 2020. He's got like
Really.
Gandalf style beard. It's intense.
This is look. Yeah, he decided to not shave for this year, and look what happened, John. So I don't wanna risk it. You know what I mean? I feel like me shaving might. Yeah. Who knows what me shaving is holding back. Um. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. And the thing is too, it's not because I'd get like a really huge beard, and I don't want that because it'd be inconvenient. It's because I wouldn't grow a big beard, and then it would be obvious that I can't grow facial hair. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, maybe though.
If
Maybe it would start to grow if you just let
I
it.
just committed to it,
Just
it's
embrace.
kind of like that. That's actually the same as when you're trying to grow out your hair. You have to get through that like really awkward like middle stage of hair growth before you get to like good flow. Um, yeah,
Yep.
it's kind of like that right now.
Okay. Well, how was Christmas? Speaking of
Christmas
beard.
was good, man. It was pretty laid back. We didn't do a whole lot, but we also my family. I kind of realized we don't normally do a ton, so it didn't look too different from other years. Yeah. How about yourself?
Yeah, for me it was quite a bit different. Normally, I have I do have family in Texas, and
Hmm.
because of all the COVID restrictions, I mean, we technically could have, but we actually had a family member become diagnosed with COVID,
Oh
so
wow.
we actually had to not go to Texas because that was part of our trip. Um, just a lot of different, really interesting dynamics. I have a grandmother who's in a nursing home, and kind of a special exception, where she was allowed out of the nursing home for the first time since March. She was allowed out for like 2 hours, and she had to like get tested when she returned and go quarantine and all that stuff. All to say is we just decided not to mess with it this year. So yeah, very different Christmas. We did not travel. Yeah, really weird social distance Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a weird year. for everyone. Yeah, I think I kind of realized though. I'm kind of thankful that we don't normally do that much. I don't know. Like it didn't look that different. We saw my grandpa a little bit, masks and distanced at all. The day after Christmas, I think. Maybe it was the day after Christmas. So we got to see him. That's probably like the most out there we went to be festive. Other than that, it was every other day. Yeah.
Okay.
John, did you get anything? Get any great gifts?
Oh, any great gifts? Let me think. I'm trying to think of. Well, I mean, the one gift I really was like. Well, there's a couple. So one gift I was really wanting was a new pair of running shoes. There's a positive thing about 2020, and good thing we'll talk about resolution stuff like that. Is that I bought a really nice over $100 pair of running shoes before the pandemic hit.
Good timing.
And those shoes wore out. So I actually asked for another nice pair of running shoes like it. And yeah, that's probably my favorite gift. Another one that was really cool too is the new Zelda game. I'm a nerd, so I don't play a lot of video games, but when Zelda comes out, that's where I gotta play.
Nice.
What about you?
Breath of the Wild 2?
It is. It's called Age of Calamity. It's Breath of the Wild Age of Calamity. It's not the sequel. That's coming out next year. It's actually the prequel to Breath of the Wild. So
interesting. That makes sense because I guess Breath of the Wild seems pretty final. I mean, the prequel makes a lot of sense. There's a lot that could be impacted. Cool.
I do hear they're making a sequel, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Anyway, any favorite gifts for you before we jump into our podcast recording?
Yeah, I've seen in the private chat some people might be working on the audio stuff. There might be some lags with the stream, so might want to wait till that's sorted out. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, my favorite gift by far is do you know about the Seattle Kraken?
Yes.
Dude, yeah, I got a Seattle Kraken shirt, and I'm so pumped.
What? Oh my gosh, are they minor league baseball?
Minor league baseball, John. NHL. We're getting a new NHL team in Seattle. Okay. So for those of you watching, I don't know, maybe you're watching this later on, maybe you're here live, I don't know. I lived in Canada for 4 years, and I made a goal to get into hockey, but I didn't really have a team I connected with. I was in Vancouver, so the Canucks were kind of my team, but I didn't feel personally attached to the Canucks. So I never really got into the NHL as much as I'd like to, which stinks. I love getting into any sport. It's just fun to follow. Right. But now I have a team in Seattle that I feel like I can follow. I'm not from Seattle, but I was born there, and I cheer for the Sonics back when they were a team. Cheer for the Seahawks. Basically, any team that's not the Sounders, I'll cheer for in Seattle. I'm a Timbers fan, but other than that, I've always gone Seattle, even when it was the Sonics versus the Blazers. But anyways, now I have a team to cheer for. I've got merch. I am not a bandwagon fan. I'm there before day one, cheering on the Seattle Kraken.
Very nice. Oh, hockey. That's right. Hockey had a season this year. I forget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we have a very special guest with us. I just want to check in. There's some technical difficulties happening backstage. Backstage is just there's a lot going on backstage. There's famous celebrities. There's really good food. There's a lot.
It's like Ellen. We just have people waiting back there to jump scare. We have on.
There's something with the bouncer. I don't know.
That's normally me, but
heard he's trying to impersonate George Verwer, and that's just causing a big issue. So, so we're gonna delay just a little bit. Sorry, we'll be once you can look for that countdown video. That's when we're getting started.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send a message to our people backstage. Give me.
No worries. They're working on it, which is totally fine.
Ready. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, backstage is it's a large, complicated place.
It is, yes. For those of you tuning in, kind of our format is, Joan and I will introduce the podcast. And once again, if you want to listen to it later, it's recorded live with very minimal edits. Sometimes if there's a white space or whatever, Or if Jonah says something heretical, we might edit that out.
Blatant heresy. Yeah.
That's right. So got to watch out. But besides that, this is pretty raw and unfiltered when it comes to that podcast, which is why we're gonna make sure we're all set to get started on that. So we'll get started with a live recording of the podcast, and when we end it, we'll take like a 10-second pause, and whoever's with us in the audience watching on YouTube or Facebook, you guys can ask questions of either us or especially today of our guest. So just be watching out for that.
Yes, sir.
Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Any plan for New Year's, John?
Not being in 2020 anymore.
That's easily the highlight.
Yes.
I feel like this is gonna be a weird year. I can't think of another year where we were just so excited to say goodbye to the year that we're leaving. It's not even like people are excited for 2021. They're just excited for not 2020. You know, I don't remember that happening before.
Oh, it has been, as we talked about 2 weeks ago, it has been quite an eventful year.
Yeah, it's a lot, man.
Hoping 2021 is really boring. That'd be the goal.
What would we talk about? If there's not like an existential threat looming over our heads, how am I gonna make small talk with people, John? Will I have to shave again?
That's
right. This whole thing's over.
Oh, I think like maybe if you I think we'll be talking about 2020 for at least another year or two. So you'll have something.
Probably. That's true.
Remember back in the day, when we had to wear face masks at the grocery stores and we had to do Zoom. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. Also, I'm calling it. 50 years from now, face masks are going to be like a relic in museums or like really valuable. So I'm going to save mine. That's my thing. Because, like all of us living now, we're going to remember. And I don't know if we're going to look back fondly, but like we're going to remember.
I'm gonna take an opposite take. You ready for this? I'm gonna say in 50 years, face masks are going to be so common that to not wear one is going to be considered immodest. It's going to be like scandalous. Like, oh,
there we go.
Like, showing off your mustache, showing off your teeth. It's going to be kind of like, yeah, watch out. I need to cover that up.
True. Yeah. I already feel. Do you ever do this where you'll go and watch a video from back in the day, and like because it's shot in 2012, no one's wearing masks, and like part of you is like they should be, or like why are these people so close to each other? Even though it was okay back then. That man, I started doing that a lot in my daily life. Also, we just got at least one more person on the viewer board. It might just be our guest, but if you are coming in, feel free to drop a comment. We're gonna start really soon.
We're having a little bit of delay there because we have a very special exotic guest.
Very special.
Yes.
Mr. Worldwide.
That's right. Oh yeah. No, I even look at things that were done earlier this year and like, oh my goodness, like what?
It's so weird.
Yes.
I think that's gonna be a hard social habit to unlearn. Cause I'm not me. I'm not a very confrontational person. If you're not wearing a mask in a store and I see you, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm very passive. But at the same time, I will for the rest of my life, I think every time I see a big gathering of people, I'll jolt back a little bit and wonder why they're not 6 feet apart. Or if
you go to church and someone tries to shake your hand, like, whoa, back off, buddy.
Oh, buddy.
Remember, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a controversy for a period of time, even at our church that we both attended, where should we do the meet and greet time or not? Do you remember that? And it went away for a while. It eventually in 2019 didn't have it, and it's a big deal. But now, could you imagine the meet and greet? It's sorry, it's just not gonna shake your neighbor's hands during service with no hand sanitizer,
or gloves. Unbelievable. Should we bring in our guests to test out their audio before we get to the more like recording time? Would that make sense?
That makes sense to me. All
Yeah.
right. Are you ready?
Yeah, Ryan, are you going to come on for a bit just to test out the audio? You're muted now via computer. Oh, I can unmute maybe.
All right.
How's that?
Yeah.
Great.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right, awesome.
Sounds
Yeah,
great.
sorry. We literally, as soon as you started streaming live, the streaming, everything went bad. So we had to switch computers and everything. So
I wonder
Alright.
if that might be a StreamYard thing, because John, we've had that before too. Where we're totally fine in like the pre-show stuff, and yeah, then it goes crazy. Okay, cool. Glad to hear the audio and stuff works.
We're gonna get
Yeah, so there's no private chat.
only 9 minutes late. Here we go.
Sweet.
Hello and welcome to the Church in Context podcast. I'm John. This is my co-host here, Jonah. Jonah, how's it going today?
Doing all right, John. We've almost made it through 2020. We're recording this on New Year's Eve. So tomorrow, all of this is going to be over. Everything's going to be great again, John. Can't wait.
Oh yes, can't wait. That's right. It's gonna be so much better. Everything, is gonna be contained to just a calendar year, and it's just
Perfect. Yep.
That's
Wow.
right.
I wish.
Well, we are on episode 10. Can you believe that we're in the double digits of the Church in Context podcast? Yeah, we're there.
Wild.
I know. See, like I said 2 weeks ago, one good thing came out of 2020. It was this podcast. So we're here.
It'll probably be looked back on as the most eventful thing that happened this entire year, actually.
Quite
the big news of this year is the birth of Church in Context.
That's right.
Pretty sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, really excited today. Going to have a very special guest on. We'll introduce him in a bit. And before we start that, why don't we share some funny news stories? The last day of our very funny, odd year. What are your thoughts? Funny news stories.
Yeah.
Go for it, Jonah.
Yeah, so this one's a little bit controversial. A lot of people are really upset about this, and I don't want to make light of like a bad situation. But apparently, for those who didn't know, Alec Baldwin's wife has been pretending to be Spanish, I think at least since they were married, so for the past 8 years. And it came out that she's just not Spanish. She was born in the USA and has been faking an accent. She faked her name. She told everyone her name was Hilaria when her name was just Hillary for like at least 8 years. And again, I don't want to make light of, cultural appropriation or of, the real struggles that immigrants have in this country. But like, that's still really weird. I don't know. I've never heard about that. Of somebody, pretending to be someone they're not that intensely in that public of a position for that long. That's ridiculous to me.
It's kind of like when you start, like when you like concoct that background, like at what point do you break it? It's kind of like you have this I don't know if it was a lie or if it was a mistake, but say it is a lie. You just keep getting deeper and deeper into that, and like you can't get out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess that's true, right? It's like the white lies build on each other until eventually. It just seems like a weird thing to start, though. Like even stage one of that,
that's true.
even beyond going on for 8 years.
Good point.
Anyways, I don't get it. That's the weirdest story I heard.
Well, my weird story. So looking forward to 2021. The colors of the year were announced. It's normally just one color of the year, but this time it felt like we needed a couple extra colors. So we had 2 colors of the year this time. And this is great. You ready for 2021? I'm so excited for this color. The color of the year is ultimate gray. Ultimate gray. It's just okay. So it's described as like just a dependable like the ultimate neutral color. Ultimate. That's why it's called ultimate. And it's described as, I have it right here, solid and dependable elements which are everlasting and provide a firm foundation.
Incredible.
Ultimate Gray.
Oh
They
man.
also have another one I think because maybe Ultimate Gray might not have appealed to everyone. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But,
Gray's like my favorite color. So
yeah,
I'm down
right.
for Ultimate Gray.
Ultimate
I'm wearing
Gray.
gray right now.
Me too, actually.
Yeah.
We're set.
Very festive for
Yes.
New Year's Eve.
2021, very festive. The other one is Illuminating, which is like a warm yellow color. So anyway, if you want to look up Ultimate Gray and Illuminating, those are the colors of the year. So excited, Ultimate Gray. I feel like we should, we have like a lot of green in our logo. Maybe we should just go with like a gray.
As long as it's the Ultimate Gray. Like now that I know there's Ultimate Gray, I'm never going to look at gray the same way again.
That's right.
Like the bar has been raised.
It has, that's for sure. Well, speaking of raising the bar, we have a very special guest with us today. Our special guest is, I want to say, like the inventor or founder of Student Connection, but I feel like maybe like the czar, or like
Ooh.
the what's another, like
The guru behind.
the guru, like the great. Let's call him the great. He's
like
the
it.
one who came up, yes, with Student Connection, and he is a good friend of both of us as we've been with Student Connection. He also works for an organization called Crew, and he will be starting a podcast sometime soon too. So with all that said, I'll let him introduce himself as well. But I want to introduce to the show our good friend Ryan Fast.
Hey guys,
Ryan, how's it going?
Ultimate Gray, really? I mean, as if we aren't depressed enough. Let's just pick a color that will just make us even more depressed.
That's right.
I mean, seriously. No, I'm great. No, you call me the czar. I think of myself more as like the Queen of Hearts, of Student Connection. I just kind of started it. Yeah, one day. So, but for all of you who are wondering out there, Student Connection is not a dating service. Just to get it straight. Just gonna start with that one.
Clarification. Thank you.
Oh, no, Student Connection, for any of you who are wondering, is just a mission conference for middle school, high school age students with just a vision of launching students into lifetime involvement of serving Jesus through missions and ministry. And why not go now? So that's what we started, and we got it connected with wonderful youth pastors like Jonah and John and others throughout the Portland metropolitan area. And so every first weekend of November, we get together and have a great time discussing, the deep-seated spiritual needs of the world around us, educating us on what it means to use gospel-centered mission to meet those needs, connecting with the mission field now, knowing that discipleship is key, or as we like to call it, DEC. So yeah, have a great time with middle school, high schoolers. Have a good time doing it, and that's what we do. And we've been really appreciated, John, Jonah, and many other pastors and organizations that have been there. We've had a blast doing it. So
yeah, it's been great. Student Connection, I think your first conference was 2015. Is that right? Or was it 2016?
Well, let's see here. I guess we've had. Now you're really making me think. Officially, we started actually 7 years ago, but okay. 4 years ago was when we had our first standalone event, kind of.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I think John, you were there, weren't you? Didn't you? Yeah, you brought it.
The original Student Connection.
Wow, that's awesome.
I know. Yeah, that was good.
Cool. And if people are trying to find out about Student Connection online, where can they go to learn more info?
You bet. Well, I mean, the first place to go is the website, which is studentconnection.org, and that's Student Connection is spelled with an X, so CONNEXION. And go there. If you got any questions, that's the first place certainly to start. You can also drop us an email at studentconnectionportland@gmail.com, and we'll get right back to you on stuff. So.
Very good. And Ryan, you're not only the
The Zuru. I like
Zuru,
it.
whatever I just said. I don't know. The czar, the guru. I just made up a word. You're the Zuru.
I like that.
The Zuru. There, you made it live online. Free gift from John, the Zuru.
That's right.
I'm using that.
That's the best part of having a live podcast is I can't edit that out.
Yeah. Not going to be editing down.
Like the maestro of Student Connection, but you are also part of another big organization over in Portland. Actually, it's well beyond Portland from our conversation, like well beyond Portland.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little more about Cru?
You bet. So Cru's been around since the early 50s. It was founded by a guy and gal named Bill and Vonette Bright. And it was a student, focused ministry that was training students at that time on college campuses how to do gospel-centered outreach and lead others to Christ. And their mantra is win, build, send. Win people into the kingdom, build them up, and then send them out to go and proclaim God's love, not only in your own context, but all around the world. That organization since the 1950s has grown into one of the largest mission organizations in the world with over 20,000 people working all over the place. Great commission work. The heartbeat, I would say, of the organization still is really working on college campus ministries throughout the entire world. But they also have a really significant high school ministry. And my wife and I have just joined staff with them. We've been working vocationally as missionaries with teens for the last decade. But we're really excited to be switching over and joining their Portland Metropolitan team here in Portland, Oregon. And we're going to get working on training students how to do discipleship, start gospel-centered movements right here on the high school campuses in Portland. So we are super excited to be engaged and get involved with that.
That's rad, man. Yeah, growing up, was missions a big part of your life when you were younger, or was it something that kind of hit you more as you were in high school? Or later?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I always tell everybody the story. Like when I was in third grade, I was going to Cornerstone Christian School, and my third grade teacher, Mrs. Reddington, was going around the classroom, and she was like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And everybody was this. I remember my friend Nathaniel, you want to be an astronaut, stuff like that, right? And as she got to me, and before I even knew it, I was like, "Well, I want to be a missionary." To this day, I cannot tell you exactly why those words just jumped out of my mouth, but they did. And they were true. I mean, like as soon as I said them, I was like, I think I might actually do that, And so missions was like on my radar for whatever reason back in elementary school when I was really young. And then when I got into high school, a friend of mine, his sisters had gone on a short-term mission trip with an organization called Team Missions International. And she had gone to Romania, come back, and she came over to me, handed me a brochure. It was like, "Hey, Ryan, I know you're kind of interested in missions. You should check this out." And I was like, "Yeah, this is awesome." And I opened up the brochure and I look at it, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, oh man, I was looking at all these countries, right, that I could go to. But then it was like everything else faded out on the paper. And there was this one country that I was like, I am going there. And I walk over to my dad, who's sitting in the kitchen. I'm like, "Dad, guess what I'm going to do this next summer?" And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Dad, I'm going to go to Switzerland." Now, I know you all are thinking, the land of cheese and chocolate, Ryan, that sounds like a rough place to be a missionary. It is. It's hard to be a missionary. Somebody's got to do it. But anyways, my father looks at me being a very pragmatic individual, and he's like, "So, son, where are you going to get the money for that?" To which I very irreverently replied to my dad, "Come on, Dad, where's your faith? What's up?" Children, if you're listening to this podcast, don't respond to your parents that way. That is not very honoring, just to make that all clear. But, literally 10 minutes later, as I'm reading through literature, I'm like, "Oh, I got to send in a deposit." And, it all went downhill from the. But I say that kind of anecdotally. The reality is God completely changed my life that summer. I did go on a mission trip. I spent the whole summer overseas working in Europe. I came back with a vision for the United States because I saw where Europe was really post-Christian, postmodern society. Yeah. And I could come back to Portland, Oregon, where I was from, and I was going, wow, we're in a tough spot here. We're not too far behind at all. And that just got me. Missions became my North Star. It became what I was looking for. I turned around and went back the next summer. I went to a developing nation context to Papua New Guinea. Malaria infested just really difficult swamps. I was a part of a team that built the only hospital in a 100+ mile radius. And just God, through both of those experiences in high school, I knew that it was like, Lord, I'm going to become a missionary. You just tell me when and where. It took me longer than I thought. I had a lot of growing up to do. But by the time my wife and I hit the 30s and we had been working a lot with youth, that was when God basically looked at us and said, hey, time to walk away from it all and go become missionaries. And so we did. And that's what we've been doing for the last 10 years, basically. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you are also jumping on with us today, but you're also starting your own podcast, kind of the official Student Connection podcast in a couple of months, right? You want to talk about that more?
Yeah, we're super excited about that. The title of our podcast, if you want to look for it, it'll be showing up, hopefully towards the end of March. We'll get our first ones running out there. It's called Ready, Let's Go. Is the title of the podcast, and it's a missions podcast. It's going to be sponsored directly by Student Connection. We're gonna engage in the deck philosophy that I've already kind of told you about. But the way we're going to do it, think of it as TED podcast meets 60 Minutes. We're going to try to bring in. It's going to be a real interview-driven kind of format, but then we're going to try to get concise, because when you sit and talk with somebody, there's certain nuggets, and that's what we want to do. We want to grab the nuggets, and we want to create for students. We want to contextualize the mission field for students. We want them to understand what's going on out there right now, what's working, what's not working. We want to teach them about not only the biblical foundation of it. So we're going to be bringing in, we hope, professors and people who can tell us a lot of the biblical background for it, but also the history of it. What's gone on historically? Why is the church driven again and again and again to just go and fulfill this great commission? What does missions look like? What is an unreached people group? What are these missionologies? And also the cultural issues that just surround taking Christ. How do you take Christ into another context? How do you do that successfully? So you're going to see a lot of profiles from missionaries who are actually in country. I'm not going to guarantee you the recordings are going to be the most beautiful thing, because we may be doing some really long distance phone calls and different recordings in some different scenarios. I already did my first recording with a missionary who's in Senegal, West Africa. Tough environment, very different. Cultural settings. So you're going to see missionary profiles. You're going to see cultural profiles. So regions, what's going to be like if you were to go to, let's say, Senegal and work. You're going to learn what that looks like. But we're also going to teach you about things like, what are the different things you can do, from church planting to, Bible translation, and why all of these different things need to be done in order for the Great Commission to be fulfilled. So, our hope, like I said, is just contextualize the mission field for the teenager so that they might be inspired by those who are already going to actually go themselves.
That's awesome. Looking forward to hearing about it.
That's great.
Hearing it once it's published. That's great.
Yeah, we can't wait. We're excited.
Love it.
And you guys know when your first episode's going to be made available?
We're planning on we don't have an exact date yet, but we're planning on the last week in March to have our opening one out. And our opening will just be an intro. And then probably the first, real good like missionary profile is going to roll out the first week in April sometime.
Sweet. Awesome. Put it on my calendar.
That's right. Exactly.
Great.
Well, speaking of kind of looking forward to things, right? We're looking forward to 2021, right? So we wanted to bring on Ryan today to talk about this topic of New Year's resolutions, which maybe some people have already thought of some. Maybe, if they're watching live right now, and it's about 4:30, that they're thinking like, oh, maybe I should make some up, because that's in a couple hours. So we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions, and later on in the podcast, we're going to talk about kind of just wrap up with what are our predictions for 2021. And
just think robots. That's all I have to say.
Think robots. Thinking robots.
Bold prediction.
Right. So New Year's resolutions. So that's something for those of you tuning in, maybe don't know what that is. I think a lot of people do, but if you don't, it's whenever a new year begins, it's kind of this break in the calendar where people think it's really significant to like start a new habit. They say this is going to be the year that I do this, whether it is I'm going to, a famous one, I'm going to lose 5 pounds. I'm going to I don't know, what are some other, I'm going to learn a new language. I'm going to
Go
learn
to
how
the
to
gym every day. That's another big
go to
one.
the gym every day. That's
Yeah.
right.
I'm going to get that chiseled Arnold Schwarzenegger look.
That's right. Exactly. So people use this calendar break as a way, maybe it feels like there's a lot of health ones, and that kind of,
Yeah.
maybe it's
Oh,
because
it's so true. Oh,
I remember I used to work for Starbucks, and January was the time where, Christmas, you had all the really sweet peppermint mochas, you had the gingerbread lattes, you had all the blended drinks, and you had the cranberry bliss cheesecake bars and all these. And
you're
then
making me hungry.
yeah, I know, right? And then January comes, and then you have the skinny vanilla latte, which is the non-fat milk, the sugar-free vanilla, and it was just totally different. And that's kind of how we approach it. Like we like indulge a lot in December, and then it's like, oh man, okay, New Year, gonna drop that weight, whatever that is. So we have this like mindset, but a lot of times, either one, I think that the goal is very like not attainable, or it's a means to an end, but it's not an end, right? And I know Ryan has some thoughts about that. But it's also, maybe something that's, if we're really going to think about changing who we are holistically and becoming more like Christ, well, health is good, but sometimes our goals are maybe in the wrong place. Yeah, Ryan. So I just want to throw that out to you. Any thoughts on New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, I got lots of thoughts about that. And you know that. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I really don't like New Year's resolutions, if I'm honest with you. So you're like, you brought the wrong guy on the show. Here's the reason why. It's not because they aren't well intentioned, but it has more to do with my observation that far too often, us as humans, our ambition far exceeds our actual motivation to carry something out. And let's just go with your example of, we want to get in peak physical health, right? And let's make it a little simpler. Let's suppose, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there like, I want to exercise more this year, so I'm going to run 3 miles a day. Okay. So average Joe Blow, who has not been running much at all, decides to go out and runs 3 miles. What is going to happen to your body? Like, you're going to die a mile in, probably, right?
Knees or back will hurt so bad.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. And and so, yeah, I mean, you gotta get yourself into it a little bit first, right? Maybe do some walking first before you start running, and build up to that, kind of 3 miles. And that's what I often find is that when we don't, there's two things you have to identify when you're going to change something in your life. First off, you need to actually identify what's your core value. I don't think your main reason is you just want to go run 3 miles. It's probably because, hey, I want to get healthy. I want to have a healthier body.
Not many people like running 3 miles. Like, miserable.
Yeah, and so you got to find out, what am I really after, and then on the other end of that, if you're going to actually do it, you got to build habits into your life that are attainable, and that's where the motivation and that doesn't meet your ambition, kind of gets in the way. So here's my own personal story on this. If you had met me a little over a year ago, I was 6'1" and I weighed 350 pounds. I was a very morbidly obese individual. I sit in front of you now. I used to be a 3XL guy. I'm actually wearing a size medium shirt now. Okay. I've dropped over 150 pounds, but I didn't do it overnight. And I definitely didn't do it because I started running 3 miles a day or something like that. Instead, what I did was I built little tiny micro habits, just little things that I knew I could do every single day and that I wouldn't fail to do. Because when you fail, what happens? You just get demoralized and you fall off the bandwagon. But if every single day you're doing a simple discipline that you can do, and after a week or two of doing it, you're like, well, I can add a little bit more to that, and then I can add a little bit more to that. Over the span of 2 to 3 months, that discipline becomes a habit, and that habit eventually will become a practice.
Yeah.
And you can build on things. So here's an example. 15 weeks ago, I wanted to start doing push-ups. Okay. My goal was to do 50 push-ups in a day. That was my goal. Now I went, wait, but that's not, I'm not going to be able to sit down and do 50 push-ups. Shoot, I don't think I've ever done more than like 5 in a row in my entire life, right? You know, I mean, the pecs get so sore, right? After you do some push-ups, you know? And, but what I did instead was I got up in the morning and I did 3 push-ups. Okay, I could do 3 push-ups. And then I set an alarm on my phone for about 10 o'clock and I did 3 more push-ups. And then I did another one after lunch, another set middle afternoon, another set in the evening. Over the course of the day, I did 15 push-ups. I felt a little sore, but not bad. I did that for a week. For a week, every day I did 15 push-ups, 3 at a time, basically. Today, I have done over 80 push-ups. Each week, I've added 1 more push-up, to my sets. And that's, okay, so I'm just talking physically. That's what I think we should be looking at. Instead of just looking at our big, huge resolutions that are probably going to set you up for failure, I think you want to build in just little attainable disciplines that you can just work on gradually, let them become habits, and you're building habits into your life that then ultimately can become practices that are a part of your life. And so, I've just talked about this physically. Of course, where I really want to go with this is spiritually, right?
Right.
Where does this really go? So here I am. I am a 44-year-old male sitting in front of you. I've followed Jesus ever since I was 5 years old. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've never had the prayer life that I've ever wanted to have. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, we all know those prayer warriors, right? The people that pray a lot. Don't we all know those people? And for me, whenever I've met those people, I have always wanted to be those people, but I've never been able to figure out why in the world I can't ever like I know they pray a lot, but I just can't, 5 minutes in, my mind is everywhere else but on prayer, right? And earlier, this year in 2020, I went, wait, I've done all these things with my physical body. Why don't I try this spiritually too? So I just made myself a little chart. I was like, I want to be a prayer warrior. Well, that's my goal. That's my motivation. I want to pray and have this great, because it's the love what prayer does. Like, it builds up my trust in God. It increases my fellowship with him. It draws me closer to people I'm praying for, right? So I just make myself a little chart and I'm like, this week, I want to pray 5 minutes a day. I just want to get alone and be quiet and spend 5 minutes a day praying to God. Now that's something that I know I could do, because 5 minutes isn't that hard. Maybe for someone else, it need to be 3 minutes. I don't know, but I just picked 5 minutes. And so for 2 weeks straight, I never failed to pray for at least 5 minutes. Why? Because I could do it. I knew I could do it. 5 minutes a day is not that hard to set aside. Well, after 2 weeks, do you think I was still praying 5 minutes a day? No way.
Oh.
No. By the end of 2 weeks, it was more like 10. And so I was kind of like, well, okay, so I'll bump it up to 10 minutes a day. After 4 weeks, do you think it was just 10 minutes a day? No, it was more than that. So I bumped my, up to 20 minutes a day. Over the course of 8 weeks, I got up to where I wanted to be. I got up to easily, comfortably spending half an hour a day just praying with the Lord. That was my personal goal. That was where I wanted to be. It didn't happen overnight. And if I tried to make it happen overnight, I know I would have failed. But God, through, honestly, just his grace, allowed me to just learn these just little things about habits, disciplines, practicing them, and they'll grow with time. Success breeds success. It's kind of the way God made us to be. So that's my thoughts on, kind of how do you, when you look at something that you really want to, God, Jesus gives you these ambitions. He really does. When you come to believe in him, he gives you these ambitions that you want to do it. But he also gives you the capacity to figure out how to get there. And it's never, in my experience, it's virtually never something that you just experience overnight.
Did the pain of doing more push-ups cause you to pray more too? Is there
immensely. Well, here's my trick to praying as much as I do. I pray when I walk now. So I actually integrated it with one of my other habits. So every day I do at least a 30-minute walk. And I think if people were to listen, because I'm a verbal processor, so I can't pray internally. So I literally walk my street. I'm just praying out loud, just like you and I are talking right now. And I think my neighbors have to think I've got to be a little crazy. It's like, I'm just that guy who walks and talks to himself a lot, I'm like, yep, that's me.
Well, I think that's a really good principle you brought up. Not only just that starting small and like it's kind of like if you're if you say you're only going to pray for 2 minutes, likely if you get started, you might continue, and it's good to just let yourself. And in that case, you've exceeded your goal instead of failed to meet your 30-minute a day goal, right? To start,
You've got it. Yeah.
that's awesome. And I think another thing you said too with combining habits or like habit stacking. So like if everybody wakes up and gets out of bed, right? So the first thing you do to get out of bed, like that's your first habit. So you might not think of it as a habit, but yeah, getting out of bed is a habit. But maybe what's the next thing you do? I know for me, like with an evening routine, I always brush my teeth, right? So that's the habit that is ingrained into me. So if I do something positive after brushing my teeth, a habit, then it kind of triggers habits along the way. So I think, just that walking, that was already built in. I think that's huge. Especially habits that lend themselves to each other. Like
that work well together.
Yeah.
I don't think brushing your teeth while you're walking. I'm not sure if that's very pragmatic, really.
That's true.
Totally. Yeah, I like how you brought up the idea of almost playing the long game of discipleship. Sometimes we get so focused on what can I do today to change my life, to become the person I want to be, to get my prayer life right, to get my health right, and we kind of want to cram, every spiritual habit we want to possibly form into a single day, to become something totally new. But I like how you brought up this idea of doing little things over time. I had a friend tell me once, discipleship is more a matter of time than it is a matter of effort. Like we're just not going to be people God wants us to be tomorrow. You have to kind of build up to it. So in your life, how were you able to keep motivated over time? Were there certain days when it was difficult, or did you run into any challenges as you were trying these like smaller habits that you integrated, day after day after day?
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's two different things I would say that were absolutely keys to success. And I'll go back to my weight loss, example. I had a coach. In Christian terms, I had somebody who discipled me. I had somebody who I knew regularly was going to check in with me and was just going to say, "Hey, Ryan, how you doing? How's this week been for you?" The other thing was I had a community. So, and again, I bring this into the church context. You would have a body, a group of people that you meet with regularly, and who encourage you, who you want to be with, you want to be a part of. So I was a part of an online community for my weight loss, that I could check in regularly. I could see how other people were doing. I could see their successes and I could see their failures because people weren't afraid to be transparent and say, "Oh, this is a bad week for me. I'm honest here. When I had a bad week, I could be honest too, so those two things, having, some sort of regular accountability discipler, someone who's a part of your life you look up to, someone who can mentor you, and also having a community to function within, a community that has like goals. You can't, if you want to build up a discipline in your life, you need to be around other people who want the same thing. You need to find a community that wants to pray, right? You need to find a community that wants to study the word. You need to find and they're out there, they exist, and go find those things. And those make huge differences. Having that coaching, mentoring, discipling, and community, all of that is super huge. I would say there's 4 pillars, of any sort of thing. One is the actual discipline. What is it you're after? Next is, an individual can hold you accountable. Next is a community that you can function in. But the final thing is also just education. You've got to figure out how to get where you want to go, and sometimes it's really easy. Like in the example of prayer, we'll start talking to God, open your mouth and exhale and, start talking, but sometimes depending on what you're doing, you may need more than that. If you want to learn Greek, so you can study the original New Testament Greek and have a deeper understanding of that, then I might suggest you go to Multnomah. There's some good classes there you might need to take. So you've got to figure out, you do have to educate yourself on what's going to work for whatever you're seeking after. So.
That's good. Well, thanks for those thoughts. I think as we're thinking about goals, and it's not that, it's necessarily bad to have a New Year's resolution, right? But it's more important to think about habits, not just on a certain time of the year, but like as a consistent thing that we do, like Jonah said, like over time, and something that builds as opposed to something that, like your original example, running essentially a 5K, 3 miles every day to start will,
Most people will fail. It's just, yeah. And I think understanding why, I think getting back to your real why do I want to run 3 miles? I think it's super important to understand, well, I want good health, or I want a deeper walk with God, or I want closer fellowship with other believers, or I want to win the lost for Christ. Get to that deep value, identify that, because you need that. You need to understand that God's giving you those things, and are they healthy? If your value is rooting in something that's selfish, it isn't going to be good. If you're wanting to get healthy so that you can rock that bod and show it off, you probably don't have a good motivation there either. But if you're getting healthy because you really want to live a long and effective life for the Lord and advance His kingdom throughout, well, yeah. Now I think maybe you've hit on the right value that you're going for there. So another part of the equation.
Having a long-term healthy value or goal, and thinking about that end, not just the means to an end, is important, because if you think about, if it really boils down to, you just want to be healthy so you look better, but then looking better, when you look at a pint of ice cream, they're kind of like, they both are pretty appealing.
Oh, they can look really good.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with having a small serving of ice cream, but my problem was, it was like, that pint needs to be eaten along with 2 other pints.
Totally.
And knowing where you're going to fail if you start going down the road, it's like, and that's where that discipleship component really helps you out, right? Because somebody could look at you and say, yeah, you shouldn't even eat 1 spoonful of that, buddy, because you and I both know where you're going to go, right?
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, I think that the theme along the way I'm seeing of kind of the theme of humility. Sometimes we think we can just do it. If I just try really hard, I can go run 3 miles. Maybe we don't want to acknowledge where we're at. And yeah, like you said just a second ago, having someone in your life to call you out and saying, hey, this won't be good for you. I know where this will take you. It's important. Yeah. Would you say in your kind of journey, both with weight loss and with your prayer life, how did it change the way that you saw humility?
Oh my goodness. There is nothing more difficult than being actually honest with yourself and actually just saying, hey, you, Ryan Fast, you're not being honest if you think you can, whatever, go eat a pint of ice cream and not have it affect you, and being able to go, yeah, I really want that pint of ice cream, but I don't need it. And so I'm choosing the healthy, the better choice right now, or likewise being honest when you do blow it. One of the things about God's grace that I absolutely love is the fact that on my worst day, He's still crazy about me. And when you understand that doesn't give you permission to keep eating the pint of ice cream. In fact, when you really embrace the fact that on your worst day, Jesus still loves you, it draws you towards obedience. It actually you want to know Christ better. And even though you may fail at times, He's still there to pick you up, and He's put you in a community that's ready to walk right beside you. It's called the body of Christ, right? For a reason. And so I think that's all. I think when it comes to humility, a huge part of it for me is total honesty, brutal honesty with myself, and then with others. And it's not easy. But I mean, James 4:10, humble yourself in the sight of the Lord and He will lift you up. You've got to be honest with Him, and when you mess up, you gotta keep going down before Him. That's what I've had to do. it's, I do not, if there's anybody in this world that thinks that they have humility figured out, watch out, man. You're in trouble. But yeah, walking humbly before God, I literally was praying that today as I was walking. I was literally crying out to God, just saying, God, I need some help. I need more humility in my life. Help me to humble myself. I don't fully get it, but that inward honesty I know is a huge step, really hard one for me to take daily, like regularly, but I have to keep doing it.
Good. Well, thanks for that insight. That's, just that knowing your why you're doing something, and the attitude you bring to it is huge. And being able to see your own pride, but also move past superficial things too, and kind of see through those things, I think is really as we look at.
Yeah, I think as a male, one of my quotes, you guys remember Rich Mullins, right? The guy who wrote Awesome God and all those great, songs. Yeah. I was watching a video of his one time, and I've hung onto this quote. He said, "We must never forget our capacity for complete and utter moral bankruptcy." And it's like, that's one of those things that I've hung on to, because I'm like, yeah, that's part of what keeps us humble, is just knowing it's like, yep, as long as I'm a human being living here on God's green earth, I can really blow it. And I need to just remember that, I need to just humble myself and just keep on saying, all right, God, the only thing that gets me through each day, the only thing that keeps me from just completely blowing it is you and your grace. And, just keep walking, through that.
Good. Well, thanks for your insight on that. That's awesome to consider with hours left before. Love it. Hey,
the resolutions right now.
Yeah. Right. So what are our resolutions, guys? What are they?
Hey, just wanted to kind of circle back. So normally what we do, Ryan, we're going to do this a little different today because it's the last day of 2020. Normally, Jonah and I share what's a big story, or even just something impactful personally that's on our mind, right? So we share something personally. What I want to do is have a quick roundtable, and you can share more than one, of predictions for 2021. And this will be good to look at the end of next year to see how wrong many of these are. But want to hear any thoughts. Could be kind of more funny ones, could be ultimately more serious ones as we're thinking about the pandemic that we're in. Any thoughts? I've got a few for myself, but I want to let you guys, do you have any ones that come to mind?
I think The Mandalorian season 3 will be the best one ever.
There we go.
Baby Yoda is my hero. What can I say?
How can it not be? Oh man.
Okay, that's my first one. Who's next?
There we go.
All right. Go ahead, Jonah.
Man, my thoughts. I don't know if too much is going to change by tomorrow. Like, I think a lot of people are going in really excited, guns blazing. We're finally not in 2020 anymore. But I don't know if it is going to make that much of a difference. I'm expecting a lot more of the same. People are probably still going to be, mad at each other for random things. People are still probably going to be sick. Like, either that or Jesus is coming back. One of the two.
No, now you just ruined it.
But The Mandalorian season 3 is going to carry the year. So it doesn't that. One thing is going to be better, and it's The Mandalorian season 3.
As long as Jesus comes back after Mando 3 is released, we're good.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
So I have a prediction for 2021.
Okay, go for it.
So social media, right? So Facebook has been king for a long time. And I do think Facebook will hang on to the social media king for at least one more year. But so the rank of most users for social media are Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, WeChat, Instagram, and then TikTok has risen all the way up. It has surpassed Snapchat. It's surpassed LinkedIn. That was more popular before.
LinkedIn is still a thing? It still exists?
That's right.
That's kind of like Twitter. It's like, what? Who's
Yep.
on Twitter? What?
I know. Yeah, Twitter's not on that list either. My
Really?
prediction is that despite Instagram having 200 million more users than Snapchat, I think Snapchat will surpass Instagram by the end of next year.
Whoa.
I think that Facebook, who by the way owns Instagram, is under a lot of pressure, right, from just their monopoly and stuff like that. And Snapchat is becoming more U.S. based, so I think the combination of those things, I think Snapchat is going to surpass Instagram, and definitely the most popular app for Generation Z. So I think it's going to happen by next year.
Wow, dude, you guys are going all deep on me. I was just
Oh, yeah.
sticking with the Mandalorian, man. I thought that was a for sure thing. But
It's going to grow up.
You're the most likely to be right, though, I think. So, yeah.
Let's say my next one. I'm calling it right now, and this is when I'm really a psychic if this happens. Okay, guys. But I think the Buffalo Bills are going to win the Super Bowl.
Oh man,
Really? They're good. They have a chance.
Yeah, man. So let's go on around. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? I just call. Don't get me wrong. I am a diehard Seahawks and Dallas Cowboys fan, so I'm not calling my own team. So, but what say you, John? Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Man, I love Patrick Mahomes. I'm also a Seahawks fan, so I'm with you there. I'd love it if the Seahawks made it out of the NFC.
We're just hoping Russell starts cooking in his kitchen, right? That's our goal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the Bills have a good chance. Like they're probably, I think, the second best team in the AFC. But I think the Chiefs will still win it. If I had to guess, Bills are. Yeah, I put money on Bills too, though. They're good.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I'm going for the long shot just to be.
Oh yeah, the Bills. That's a good long shot. That's a safe dark horse right there.
I'm going to go with. Well, first off, gosh, I really want to go bold and say that the Washington football team is going to. Just because it's the one year they're the football team.
Dude, go all the ways and just pick the Cowboys. Then you might as well.
I'm going to say the New Orleans Saints are finally going to overcome that curse.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Drew Brees is going to make the best possible handoffs to Alvin Kamara to carry them to a championship, and Drew Brees is going to retire in glory with his ring, just like Peyton Manning did.
Listen, Drew just needs to loosen up the purse string. Drew just needs to loosen up the purse strings a little bit, give some of that salary over to the refs, and make sure they don't shortchange him this year.
There we go.
But before we do, maybe let's do one more go through each one of us. But I had a user comment, Snapchat or TikTok. I'm not sure if I said Snapchat. I'm saying TikTok. I think I said Snapchat. TikTok.
You did say Snapchat. Yeah.
Oh, no, not Snapchat. No, definitely not Snapchat.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering. I was like,
yeah, that's really bold.
It's been around for a while. It's not number one yet. I think
TikTok is going to take over Instagram.
You think TikTok's taking over Instagram? Okay, all right.
Yes, I apologize. All right,
I got you. Well, my next bold one, because I like bold ones, is that we need to think robots here, people. And I think there's going to be a new generation of Alexa that is not going to just sit on our counters anymore, but is going to get off our kitchen counter and make a meal for us. It's evident that pretty soon food is going to be coming thanks to robots in our lives. That's my my prediction. Yeah, think robot. Yeah,
I like it. Yeah. Yeah, this prediction, I'm pretty set on this. I think I'd be surprised if this didn't happen, right? So I was barely a human being in the 90s. I was born in 96, so I don't remember it super well. But I know that there's
I feel old craze. Now. Thank you, Jonah.
Sorry. I think that mask collecting is going to be the new Beanie Babies 90s craze, because masks right now, everyone has one, right? There's a lot of companies are selling them, but they probably won't be for very long. And they're going to be something people are going to wait. They're going to invest money in, expecting the value to go up in 50 years when no one's making face masks anymore. So
see, now I think you're hitting on the right thing, but I think actually what's going to happen by 2021 is all those masks we used to cover our mouths, we're going to poke holes in them and put them up on our eyes.
Really?
We're going to go for the the mask bandito kind of look.
Love it.
I feel the good look sick. I'm going to do that this week just to get ahead of the curve. Yeah. But I think mask collecting is going to become a huge thing before the end of 2021. As soon as the news is announced that, like, whenever this whole quarantine.
Yeah, the
thing
world has been vaccinated. We're all safe again.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever happened. So
There
mask
will be
investment.
museums for masks, I think.
Mhm.
Or will masks be like, things from the 60s where they burned them all in effigy? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know if people like masks that much, but I think that they will. That's I guess the hot part of the hot take.
Okay, so you guys gave like funny ones. My last one's all serious.
Oh,
So
John, stop it. You don't need to get serious on this.
my prediction for 2021 is that by the time summer hits, because people will be outside and I should say the majority of people will have been vaccinated, at least in the United States. I think by summer, I think things will feel normal, but masks will not go away in 2021. They will be a thing throughout. Even when people are vaccinated, we're still going to require face masks. That's what my prediction is. I think combination of, I think the big one is people are scared of taking the vaccine or think there's a conspiracy behind it. And I think that might cause the slowdown of masks, right? So, of removing masks. So that's my hot take. Masks will be here. This time next year we'll still be required to wear them, but by the fall, things will be they'll kind of look mostly normal.
That's a good one. That's an interesting, because see, like, have you ever traveled to Asia, John?
I have not, but I've seen travelers from Asia.
Well, see, I mean, like in Asia, like they've been wearing masks for years, like all the time. And so what I kind of wonder, riffing on what you're saying, is if people are just going to, masks are just going to be kind of an accepted part of the norm going forward, irregardless of whether whenever I've gone to Asia, we've always gone, why are all those people wearing masks, and all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
I just wonder if it's going to become a new part of the norm. That's what I'm, kind of wondering.
That's totally true. I also think, speaking of becoming part of the norm, I think people who use Zoom and know how to use Zoom, like a lot of the people listening to this show, I think that they will be at a big advantage in like the workforce and in like society than people who don't. I think that's going to be the new like computer or Microsoft Office. Like you have to know how to use it to get a job in the modern world.
Yeah,
so,
Zoom will be the new power thing. If you know it, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Totally.
I believe it. Yeah, because like even with people being able to meet in person, Zoom meetings that are so convenient. Holy moly!
Oh my gosh, it saved me so much time. Like,
Yeah.
I've known how to do it for years, but now everybody else knows how to do it, so nobody's afraid of it anymore. They may hate it, but they're not afraid of it anymore.
Mm-hmm. I hope Zoom doesn't die. I'm a Zoom fan, so I'm hoping it sticks around.
And there will probably be better iterations. Eventually, somebody will make something better than Zoom, and it'll
probably
be like a chip we plant above our eyebrow, and we'll be able to project our Zoom in front of us, or something. I don't know.
I'm thinking robots next year.
I'm thinking robots. I'm telling you, Alexa's going to get off the counter and she's going to start making dinner for us. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
That's right. Cool. Well, thank you, Ryan. Thank you for joining us for
thanks for having me, guys.
Church in Context. Oh man, this has been a good discussion. So, hey, if you've come up with a new habit or New Year's resolution, or even better, if you want to immortalize your thoughts forever on the internet and make a bold prediction for 2021,
do it.
Put it in the comments. We want to see what your predictions are, and if it's Washington football team is going to win the Super Bowl, I'm with you.
Or the Buffalo Bills. Or New Orleans.
That's right.
Just saying, pay the refs enough this time, New Orleans.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. And yeah, Ryan, thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. It's really been a pleasure. And we'll look forward to maybe chat more in the future sometime.
That's good. Check out Student Connection and their new podcast coming out in 3 months. That's the last prediction, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. 2021. All right. Thanks, guys. And we'll break there. That's a cut.
Well, the three of us had a great conversation, even if nobody else was there.
Yeah, right. If there is anyone in the live audience, you have any questions for Ryan or for me or for Jonah?
You can put them up there in the comments.
Yeah.
How do they
I know
respond to
a
them?
Yeah, I know a fair amount of people that listen, but just not live. But some of them are like sleep schedule. Like my friend from Norway apparently listens, which is weird. I don't know. I just haven't talked to him in years, but he messaged me. It's like, hey,
Alexa, make me pancakes. Why don't you make a new habit and make yourself pancakes, dude? Oh, good job.
thinking robots.
Nice.
Thinking robots.
Oh, so my son the other day paid for the Samuel L. Jackson voice to be his Alexa voice.
Unreal. Fantastic purchase.
Yeah, that was fun until I found out that the Samuel L. Jackson version that he downloaded includes the explicit part of him. And I was like, what is that, son? He's like, well, he cusses a lot. And I'm like, what?
That's so funny.
Like, we have little kids in this house. Yeah, but it's funny, Dad. Slap.
That's awesome.
Well. Any questions out there? I like Alexa making pancakes. It can happen.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
No.
Give it just a couple minutes. We'll see if there's any.
See if anyone wants to ask us crazy questions. So, and Micah is spelled. You're spelling Micah wrong, but there's an H on the end. It's M-I-C-A-H. That's for what it's worth, Angie. Yeah. Poor Micah. It's like nobody spells my name right. You guys know the most famous verse from Micah? That's the
6:8.
question. Micah 6:8.
Yep.
It's the one.
Can you quote it?
Trying to remember. I know it's like.
Yes, Shundi, oh man, what is good and what the
justice,
Lord
love
desires.
mercy, walk
Yeah, do
Yeah.
justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Yeah, man, that's a tough question, Jonah. Man, asking about humility.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
sorry about that.
No, man, that's legit. But it's like I got to tell you, I feel like there's a million steps to that, and I've taken one. You know.
Yeah, sorry about that. But as you were talking, I kept hearing it come up, and I'm like, man, it's like a really, I don't know, random tangent. So sorry we didn't. Yeah.
No, that's a good. No, I liked it. I was like, whoa, now I got to think on my feet here a little bit. What kind of nuggets? Regular, spicy, tofu? Oh, I like spicy. Can we do spicy tofu, Angie? Can we do spicy tofu?
Where are
Interesting.
the nuggets?
Where are nuggets? So, which you guys like better? Do you like chicken nuggets from McDonald's, or chicken fingers from Burger King, or the chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A?
Oh, is that a question?
Well, it's a question. I was just curious if anybody still has a soul or not. You know, I mean,
It's like, who's better, Patrick Mahomes or Andy Dalton?
well, duh. Red hairs unite. Come on,
Red rifle.
let's go, Gingers. Woo.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm surprised. So I'm from like I don't know if I should say where I'm from in case someone watches this. Like I don't know. But
you
I'm
should
from an
tell the
area where
story.
we got a Chick-fil-A nearby, like 2 years ago. No, like 4 years ago. And at first it was crazy busy, and I'm like, okay, this is just
Crazy
it's just
busy.
because it's new, right? It
never
won't be like
stops.
forever. It is still insanely.
Still
I think
crazy
Chick-fil-A
busy.
is
Yeah.
insane. I'm a big Chick-fil-A fan, but man, the line is still nuts.
Well, and like what's amazing to me is like, so my wife's got the app and everything, and like I'm amazed that even though the line is like half a mile long, we're through in like 5-10 minutes. Like,
It's true.
and I'm like, how do they do this? Like, they're brilliant, you know.
Yeah,
What I can't believe. Okay, you guys know where the In-N-Out Burger is down in Wilsonville?
Wait,
First off,
wait, it's talking about Wilsonville? Do you mean Salem, or is
no,
there
there's one in Wilsonville. Yeah,
what?
yeah, it's that close to you, John. And let me explain to you, the fact that you're responding the way you are makes me deeply sad, because
I do.
In-N-Out burgers are the worst. They're horrible. They're just-
Oh my gosh, that is
See?
so.
See, look at this. I knew we'd find something to argue about, John. I knew we'd find.
They are the best.
Oh, no.
What a hamburger is all
And you
about.
can say what you want about the whole Monster Burger thing. And it's not, no. They're just greasy, yucky, disgusting burgers. That's
What are you
all they are.
talking about?
Wow.
I mean, if you're comparing them to McDonald's, yeah, they're better, but come on, these are like, ugh, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's overrated. I would say that they're not bad burgers. If you were just to give me a burger, like from In-N-Out and I ate it, I'd be like, oh, that's fine. But it's the fact that everyone is so hyped about like good burgers. You know what I mean? Like people are
Listen,
getting In-N-Out food on themselves. That doesn't make sense. It's not worth
Yeah,
it. They're
like
good.
if I want a good burger, I I go to Red Robin, man.
Ooh.
Just go to Red Robin.
It's
fair.
Red
Get
Robin.
a good burger.
They're like mediocre. Red Robin. There's better. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that Red Robin isn't better than In-N-Out?
I'm saying In-N-Out is better than Red Robin.
Oh my god. Okay, people, he has just discredited himself.
Now, if
It's
you want to
just-
bring it like, there's like Five Guys like that. That's a good.
Yeah.
comparison. They're pretty good.
I would put Five Guys in between. Like they're not quite a fast food place, so they're slightly better than all the other fast food places out there.
Mm-hmm.
But when I eat at a Five Guys, here's my problem with Five Guys. I like their food. I do enjoy their food. When I eat it, I'm like, that's good. But their price point, I'm like, with a Five Guys, I can pretty much make that at home, and I can beat that price. And that's how when I walk away from a Five Guys, I'm like, I feel like I could have eaten just as good at home and probably had the same amount of satisfaction. That's how I feel when I walk out of it. Whereas when I go to Red Robin, I actually feel like I'm going out because it's like they got really big. They got stuff that I can't keep at home. Like your bonsai burger. I mean, who keeps the stuff like that at home? It's like, or their bacon avocado. Anyways, sorry. Now I'm gonna go to Red Robin. I'm hungry.
Red Robin's fantastic. Yeah, that's like
what's
the one place we'll go out.
What's another good like burger? Really good burger place, Jonah? Can you think of another one? I'm trying to think of a good.
There's a place over in Gresham that called the Local Cow, which is really good.
The Local Cow, really?
Yeah, that's so good. That's
their thing. They make good burgers.
Gresham.
Yeah. There's a place on the way up to in the Oregon area, on the way up to Mount Hood. There's like a good burger place. I feel like it's Auntie something. There's a good.
There used to be one called Calamity Jane's on the way out.
Calamity Jane's. Yeah, I don't think it's Calamity Jane's, but yeah, I've heard of Calamity Jane's before. There used to be one.
I think they're closed now, but they used to make like amazing shakes, like the most amazing shakes.
Yep.
Like, they were so good.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm trying to think of any other real burger places that I just love, but I think I've listed my repertoire.
So that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
So in the comments, Burgerville. Burgerville has good shakes and pretty good fries, but like I don't think the burgers are rated Burgerville, which is ironic. I feel like the name's misleading.
You know what I like? What I like about Burgerville is they do use Tillamook cheddar cheese, though. They don't use that.
Oh, true.
Good.
And that's a good thing. I like their fish and chips there, of all things. I love their fish and chips at Burgerville. It's
I feel like they hit every mark except, in my opinion, except for the burgers. Like the burgers are like very subpar fast food burgers.
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty good.
Yeah, I don't go to Burgerville for the burgers. That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
I really don't. Yeah. They've got a good salmon burger there. Have you ever had their salmon burger?
I don't think so. No.
It's actually pretty good. I like it. Yeah. So you get a bag of fries at Five Guys for $5, and cooking it yourself isn't the point of fast food. That's true, Angie. That's true. I won't kid you. Their bag of fries I actually like their fries at Five Guys better than it, but it's the burger. I was just talking about the burger. I feel like the burger I could make at home. But there's no way you could. Yeah, their fries. Oh, their fries are good at Five Guys.
There's so many. There's so many fries.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Killer Burger's also good.
Yeah, I forgot about Killer Burger. Yeah, that's good. Guys, we need to start a new podcast. It'll be all about food. We'll just sit and riff on food.
I don't know if I can join In-N-Out haters. Man.
I don't hate it. I'm like, I just think it's overhyped. It's overrated.
Yeah.
I think, John, you have to admit it's overrated. Like, you don't say it's bad, but it is overrated. Come on, John.
That's my beef with it too. I don't think they're horrible burgers,
but they're like sure overrated.
They're just really overrated. I won't drive forever to go get an In-N-Out burger.
It does feel that way in Oregon. But it's kind of like someone being in the Sahara Desert and you say water's kind of overrated. And it's kind of like, they've just been missing water for so long that they'll go and they'll wait in line for 3 hours to go get that water. So
yeah, but the thing, when I lived in California, people were just still they were gaga. They were enamored with it. And I was always like, well, I mean, it's okay. I don't mind eating there, but there's a Chinese buffet down the street. Just as likely to kill me, And
there, for the record, there's no In-N-Out in Wilsonville. I just Googled it. And that's what Google says. There's a
Well,
place.
it's down there, that area. Where is it? It's at the outlet malls, isn't it? Where it is?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's not in Wilsonville.
No.
Where is it? Where are the outlet malls?
It's not Woodburn. That's the outlet mall. It's
Woodburn.
It's north of Salem. It's Kaiser, by the
Are
volcano.
you out Googling me? I thought it was at the outlet malls there.
There are outlets by the In-N-Out.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why I'm getting it all confused.
Yeah.
In-N-Out is coming to Beaverton. That's what I.
Really? Yeah. Oh, okay. So, what's your guys' take on Cracker Barrel?
John and I have boycotted Cracker Barrel ever since they fired Brad's wife. Do you know about that?
No, who got fired?
So some guy named Brad commented on like Cracker Barrel's Facebook page. This is back in like 2013, but I'm not over it. He commented like, "Why'd you fire my wife?" And Cracker Barrel can't answer that question on social media. They're not allowed to. But the internet demanded answers, and so there became this big like, Brad's wife. Yeah, this big like justice for Brad's wife push happened years ago. I've never eaten a Cracker Barrel. That's the only thing I like care about with Cracker Barrel.
Oh,
it's just I won't go there for Brad's wife.
Have you never eaten at Cracker Barrel at all?
Nope.
Never. Well, then you can't really judge it. That'd be like me saying I don't like In-N-Out and never having had an In-N-Out burger. Like,
I mean, seeing how they treat Brad's wife shows me enough about Cracker Barrel.
John, are you on the same bandwagon? Do you just hate Cracker Barrel because they fired Brad's wife?
Well, actually, that's true. I have not had Cracker Barrel since they fired Brad's wife, or since I knew about them. That's a good point.
So you've never had a Cracker Barrel?
I have though. I've had it. I haven't had it in Oregon. I've had it in other states.
Oh, okay.
Texas and I think like New Mexico. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, it's kind of like, all right, we're on this road trip and we're not sure where to eat because we've never been in this town before. And okay, there's Cracker Barrel. I guess we can either starve or have Cracker Barrel. I'm not sure which is worse.
It could be worse. You could go to Denny's.
Fair.
That is worse. That's true.
I just, for what it's worth. It's, See, there's always a Hitler. This is my theory. If we're gonna go for the lowest common denominator, there's always somebody who's worse than me. This is how it always works. There's always something worse. I mean, if you want to talk worse than In-N-Out, yeah, we'll go to McDonald's. Okay, let's be real. Yeah. Oh darn! I should have predicted that Starbucks would begin to reopen their actual like inside dining. Dang it! That's what I missed for the predictions. Probably would have gotten that one right. Well. So, justice for Brad's wife 2021.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
There's still, so I just checked their Cracker Barrel's Facebook page. There's still people posting about justice for Brad.
Unreal.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. This is awesome. Well, I will tell you, as a guy whose mother's from the South, I like Cracker Barrel because they have some good Southern dishes that I enjoy. So that's why I go there, because I really love like fried okra, turnip greens, and certain things like that. So that's why I go to Cracker Barrel. Yeah, here in Oregon, I probably go once or twice a year just because I really, really enjoy it. And they do have good breakfast. I will hand you that. They have some really good breakfast. If you want a good chicken fried steak for breakfast, they got themselves a good chicken fried steak.
I swear though, they must make most of their money like before you even order food. Like they make you walk through that gift shop.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you just like you wait in the gift shop for your table, and then
it's like Disneyland, or Disney World. You get off the ride, and what do they follow you right through?
Yeah,
the shop, right? The store. You got to buy the merch that you just saw. It's the same deal. The real genius is you have to walk out of it on the way out, and by the time you're walking out, you feel like you've gained 20 pounds, so you have to walk slowly through.
Right.
Oh,
You have to pay at the cashier in the gift shop too. Like, they get you.
They do. I love what Angie's saying now. She said Cracker Barrel has a gift shop that inspires me to find a cheaper price on Amazon. Very nice, Angie. That's so true. But my kids, they know where the toy section is. So when I walk out, they go. I literally lose them, and then I know exactly where. I just go find the toys in the corner, and they've got it. Dad, can I buy this? Can I have this? Oh, wow.
All right. Well, I think we're not going to have any more serious questions.
I don't think we ever had any to begin with, did we?
I think that's fair. Yep, that's fair.
Yeah, 90% of the questions. What was it? A couple weeks ago we did we rated like the Santa Claus movies. You know,
Ooh.
what's his name? Tim, not Tim Burton.
Tim Allen, Tim the Tool Man.
So
Well, hey guys, it's been fun. Thanks for having me on and letting me be crazy. So
yeah, thanks
I
for
love,
coming, man.
I love this stuff. It's fun. So
Yep.
We appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you later.
catch you later.
Bye.